But let's get started. All right, Medical Monday. And what did we talk about? Well, look, the weather's warming up, and I can tell you this firsthand because I experienced this the other day. If it's a really, really hot day, you might actually experience some water retention. Okay. And this can be really true whether you've been active in hot weather or not, especially if your fluid intake has been low. And it really depends on how hot and how humid it is outside. But it might seem like a paradox that drinking more water will actually help you get rid of the fluid retention. But fluid retention is often caused by an increase of blood pressure on the veins, which adds to the pressure on the capillaries. So there was an article, and it was called, I was in My Health in Alberta, came from Alberta, Canada. And they basically said that fluid overload means that your body has too much water. And the extra fluid in your body can actually raise your blood pressure and force your heart to work a little bit harder. It can actually also make it really hard for you to breathe. So this can be very concerning for people in our community. So if you're finding that you're having problems with shortness of breath, if you're finding some edema or swelling in your ankles or in your hands, you might want to mention that to your doctor. It is relatively normal. I think a lot of people experience some swelling in their fingers, rings start to feel tighter when it's really hot outside, especially if you're walking and you're swinging your arms down low. But we're not talking about some of the stuff that just seems to subside when you get into cooler temperatures. We're talking about the things that you know your body that might feel a little bit abnormal. When in doubt, talk to your doctor to have it checked out. But they go on to say that most of your body, as we know, is actually made up of water. And the body uses minerals like sodium and potassium to help your organs, like your heart, your kidneys, your liver. They actually help balance how much water your body needs. And for example, so the heart pumps blood to move around this water throughout your body. And the kidneys work to actually get rid of the water that the body doesn't need. So health conditions like kidney disease, heart failure, and cirrhosis can actually cause some overload. Other things that can cause extra fluid to build up can be IV fluids, some medications, too much salt or sodium from food, and there's certain medical treatments can actually sometimes cause an increase in fluid. But if you're concerned you're having fluid overload or you're having that edema or swelling, there's a lot that you can do about it. Number one, you can check out the article here, but two, most importantly, I am not a physician. People on Facebook are not physicians. Talk to your doctor. Take a picture of the swelling, send it to your doctor. That's what these portals are great for. Call your doctor, leave a message. I actually had the opposite experience. I went to the winning Orioles baseball game for my birthday, courtesy of my son yesterday, and it was hot. I mean, it was blazing hot. It was just so humid. It was so humid. And at one point, I just got really, really dizzy. And I don't know, we've talked about this on here before. I experienced what I can only call kind of like when you get a cramp in your calf, but it was in my eyes. So to me, the world appeared very crossed. But to anybody else looking at me, you would not see that my eyes were crossed. And there is a name for this condition. I can't remember, but it happened. And as soon as I felt it start to cross, I just kind of calmed down, waited a minute, but it makes you terribly dizzy. There's a lot of vertigo when your eyes get crossed. And it didn't go away for quite some time. So I start testing myself to make sure everything's level and the same because I got scared I was having a stroke. Well, I read up about it, and it actually can be caused by dehydration. So I had 4 bottles of water, and I did not go to the bathroom at all during that game. That just gives you an indication on how dehydrated I actually was. And that's not good. So there's a variety of things that were starting to happen in my body, not to mention you can have heat stroke when you're out in the sun. And I did have a baseball cap on, and I did keep going into the shade, but just be careful. Be careful out there. I mean, I know we're in the mid-Atlantic region right now, which is experiencing mid 70s, but the humidity's at 1,000,000%. It's still problematic, especially if you're having issues with shortness of breath or you're having some type of edema. So please make sure, have that conversation with your doctor. It's super duper important.